I want to say thank you again to everybody for coming to the channel, being patient. I know it's been a day or two since I've put up a video. Um, I have two full-time jobs I work, and the YouTube thing was just a side thing that was for the guitar playing until about a month or two ago. So anyway, I appreciate it. I was, however, taking this time to think about the direction I wanted to take the channel in, and going back through some videos, there were some things that I had covered briefly that I want to delve into a little bit more in depth. One of this is called binary thinking. And basically what this comes from is the response that I got from Trump voter that was very shocking to me. That if I would say something negative about Donald Trump, the automatic response would be that I was some Hillary Clinton fan. And believe it or not, there were people that actually had seen some of my videos where I had said negative or disparaging things about Miss Clinton who thought I was a Trump supporter. So I was actually having to argue two sides at the same time back when I really cared to argue with people on the channel. So it was kind of funny, but it's programming. And it's a very deep, deep mental psychosis that occurs in people when they spend this amount of time in front of the mainstream media. I had mentioned briefly in my past that I had spent some time in Army intelligence, and as a human intelligence guy and interrogator, one of the tactics that we use to keep large groups of detainees self-policing is getting them into this binary thinking mode, so that if somebody in the group would want to stir up trouble or cause dissension, we could, by sheer influence of personality, make people react to that person in a negative way. And it's a little bit too complicated to get into in this video how it works, but this is exactly what's happened with Trump supporter. And to some extent, I will say, with Hillary Clinton supporters, the extreme leftists as well. That if you say anything negative about the leader, that it'll automatically be perceived as a tacit endorsement of the opposition. And it's a very dangerous place to get people into, because they become very, very unstable and very easily manipulated by the powers that be. And anybody who's gone to any of my videos, look down in the comments section, you can see it. I've tried to delete and comment as much as I can, but it's almost an impossible thing when folks want to come here and say the things that they say. There's really no way to stop all of them. But another thing I wanted to cover is this. This is the fact-checking thing the Washington Post does, the Pinocchios. One of the reasons, and I've always said from the beginning that I didn't care for either one of these people, was it didn't matter what they said. It really didn't matter what they said they wanted to do or what their positions were, because I didn't believe the words out of their mouth, because they were proven liars. And here you can go through this huge list of lies from both of them, Clinton and from Trump, over and over and over and over again. And I had to wonder, why these people thought they would get away with it, but then it dawned on me. It goes back to the binary programming. See, when you can characterize somebody before you allow their words to be seen or spoken, it doesn't matter what they say. Someone who is opposed to Hillary Clinton, a super right-wing person, if it's somebody who is declared themselves a supporter of Hillary Clinton, it wouldn't matter if the person was telling you they had the cure for cancer. They wouldn't be listened to, they would be dismissed because of how they've been characterized. The words they say at that point don't matter. Once somebody characterized me that way, I could tell them things that Trump said in his own words. I could show them videos of things that Trump said in his own words that wouldn't register to them, and all they would respond with was more lies that Hillary Clinton told, and not even address the fact that there might be another option than Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. And we saw this over and over again, 30 videos, when I tried to outline what this man's plans were. People thought that because I wasn't doing it for Hillary Clinton as well, that somehow I was just on her side, and the reason I was doing it was because Hillary Clinton wasn't the one who had garnered the majority representation in the Electoral College meeting on the 7th of November. And that's what I was talking about, was the Electoral College. And I had stated numerous times I wasn't for either one. I mean, I could, if I wanted to, I could make an hour-long video about the Clintons and their dirty dealings and why I've never been able to support them. But, I mean, my goodness, Ken Starr, I mean, if he didn't find out this stuff, nobody would, and I covered that in another video as well. But this is what happens when you get into the dangers of binary thinking. That when you get this deep in the bucket for somebody, there's no way that you can ever see the world in an objective manner again. And as many of these as you see Donald Trump telling, she told just as many. So she dug her own grave. She really did. You know, she had an opportunity with this man to really highlight some things, and I don't think she ever mentioned once about his lack of experience. The man that he'd never served in office ever, and he never had expressed any desire to, other than a very brief desire to be appointed vice president under George Bush back in the 80s. But that wouldn't have required him to run. I mean, he would have run alongside George Bush, but coming off of the Reagan era, that was pretty much a guarantee. So, anyway, it's a very dangerous place we're heading into now because the American people are so divided. And divided not in a way that we have seen before. It used to be just left and right. Now we have the left divided because they believe that Bernie Sanders would have done better than her. There's a socialist wing, there's a green wing, and her loyalists. And then on the right, we have Donald Trump supporters, and at least for a very brief time, we're going to have the libertarian wing and the classical Republican wing. But I had made a couple videos ago about the Night of the Long Knives, and on the Republican side, unless you bow the knee and kiss the ring of this leader and support him, you are going to be in trouble if you're going to try to maintain yourself as a person standing in the party. And we're seeing this now, that all of his critics have just gone away. They have just disappeared into the background. So when you have a leader that does this, when you have a leader that doesn't want to unite and bring people into the fold, and he just wants to, by sheer force and shouting people down and intimidation, get people to cave in and support them when they don't want to, then we have a problem. There was another article you can look up that shows that North Carolina is no longer a democracy, as reported by a governmental organization that looks at these things. It puts it on par with Iran and Venezuela because of all the gerrymandering and the electoral nonsense that went on. One last thing I'm going to address in this video has to do, and this will be the last time I address it, with the Electoral College prediction. Now, I've explained this in other videos, and I'm going to try to be clearer about this. When I made my prediction, there was a certain political climate at the time. There was a great deal of dissent against Donald Trump inside the Republican Party, and it was easily proven and easily linkable. You could watch video after video after video and look quote after quote after quote from people all over the country in the Republican Party that didn't like the man. So the idea that he could possibly lose 12% of the electors, 12% of the 306 electors that were assigned to him after November 7th, wasn't out of the realm of possibility. And the first place that people went who wanted to attack me went to was that it wasn't possible. Then when they found out it was possible, they said it wasn't likely. And the mere fact that we had to see judges and party leaders and secretaries of state and states attorneys general and Donald Trump himself and the mainstream media all get involved in this effort shows that they probably had the same assessment that I did, that it was a real threat and it needed to be addressed. And the fact that it didn't turn out that way is more than likely a result of their efforts, this massive campaign to shame these people, to call them out, to put their names and phone numbers online, to unconstitutionally release the results of the Electoral College meeting on the 19th to the media instantaneously when it says that it's supposed to be sealed. So, anyway, I'm not going to defend myself on that anymore. Anybody who doesn't see that for what it is, I'm not going to convince them because they're guilty of what I've addressed in this video. It's called binary thinking, and they are in the bag no matter what the person does. So, anyway, have a Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do one tomorrow or not, but God bless you all. Let's remember the reason for the season. Thank you. Take care.